Now, from KSNT News, a special presentation. Hidden History, honoring Black history.
Good evening. Welcome to Hidden History. I'm Brooke Lennington. Tonight, we're taking a look at some events in Black history rarely discussed, which impacted our lives here. African Americans have made great contributions to our country for centuries. Sure, we know about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, but what about the names you don't know? During the next 30 minutes, we're looking at some of the Black history's hidden moments, the ones not talked about as much, but still with lasting effect on generations to follow. Let's take a journey back in time as we look at America's hidden history. It runs through 10 states, and to many people today, it just seems like a bunch of water. But in our nation's early years, it was the backbone of cross-country trade, not just in crops and equipment, but also in human property, slaves. But for some of the enslaved, one part of the Mississippi River represented something worlds away from oppression. As Lauren McCoy explains, it was a means of freedom, a river of change.
Carrying every drop of water that flows down two-thirds the continent.
From Minnesota to Louisiana, spanning more than 2,000 miles long. It's the nation's longest river, with a history much deeper than the water itself. The Mississippi was the main artery of America's pre-railroad economy, transporting boatfuls of cash crops and the slaves who tended them during the early 1800s.
When it landed, and you won't leave. They were the colored people slowly.
But one of its narrowest points stood for something completely different.
A piece of Louisiana land, which has been referred to as Free Negro Point. Now, Negro was not the word that was used to identify the area.
Historian Dr. Don Hernandez says this part of the river represented not bondage, but opportunity.
Apparently, here on the bluff, there was a large plantation. Because it was a large plantation, there would have been slaves. History reports that people who were enslaved and who were working in this area from time to time sought their freedom by escaping across the Mississippi River.
Escaping from chains in the east to liberty in the west. An irony not lost on students of Southern University, Louisiana's oldest historically Black university, founded at the eastern edge of that hopeful yet dangerous point.
It's overwhelming. I feel like I have a lot to prove because I'm here at Southern University and it was founded as an institution to educate Blacks in Louisiana, and slaves, they weren't allowed to read or write. It's crazy because I'm taking advantage of the opportunities that they put for me, and to know that right behind me is where they escape for freedom I can't imagine it.
Definitely always been proud to call myself an alumni of Southern University, but now I definitely have more of a spiritual connection to it, knowing that my people had to swim across the river to get to freedom.
When you're enslaved and when you have been tortured and beaten, I suppose anything that might afford you freedom would be inviting.
Today, the river sustains jobs for more than 580,000 people, creating over $150 billion in revenue for the U.S. economy. Once a river of pain, but also a river of prosperity, a river of change. Reporting in Baton Rouge, I'm Lauren McCoy.
It was the pathway to freedom for many slaves, the Underground Railroad. Up next on Hidden History, we're looking at one of the many stops along the path to freedom, right on our country's borders. A stop that often meant life or death for all involved.